This is an iHeart podcast.
Stop ICE from arresting criminal aliens in New York City. This was in his acceptance speech for the Democrat nomination for mayor. Your response to Zorhan Mandani?
Good luck with that.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Tuesday morning. It's so nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update. Here are the big stories we're talking about. The biggest one is the big, beautiful bill. We have a lot that is happening as we're recording this a little after midnight right now. And there's word that there are some Republican holdouts in the Senate. Much is changing, and the president is working the phone lines. We'll give you the latest that we have for you right now in just a moment. Also, in a shocking move, a major TV network is now helping warn individuals where ICE agents are so that they can get away from being held accountable for breaking our laws. Who's doing it? We'll expose that coming up as well. It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number one.
So you're tuning in right now, wanting to know what's going on with the big, beautiful bill. A lot is changing, and it's happening very quickly. I'm going to timestamp this for you to let you know it's approaching midnight as we speak right now. When you hear this, depending on when you download it, it may change drastically from what I'm telling you now. That's why I'm letting you know that as I literally just got the phone with members of Congress to get an update on what they're hearing. And I'm going to be honest with you, after talking and texting with several different people in Congress, many of them still don't know exactly what this final bill is going to look like. There is a lot of back and forth that is taking place right now. Now, there's also a rumor that at midnight tonight, there are up to 6 GOP senators that are holding out on the big, beautiful bill. I talked to another senator who said it's 5 different GOP members, but they believe that those 5 will come around after they get some concessions that they need. This is how the sausage is made in Washington, D.C., and yes, all of the people I talk to are sitting around their offices waiting for what's going to happen next. So let's go back to earlier in the day, and I want to explain to you how we got to the point that we are at right now. Caroline Levitt taking a lot of heat at the White House press briefing today on the big, beautiful bill because there are so many in the Democratic Party and in the mainstream media that want to destroy this from becoming a reality. I want you to listen to what she had to say about this legislation.
Speak on it.
Can you respond to the CBO estimate that the Senate bill would increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion?
This is one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation that has ever made its way through Capitol Hill. There's $2 trillion in mandatory savings in this bill, and not only that, the projected growth that this bill will bring to our economy. It will be an economic boom. The Council of Economic Advisors has an analysis that shows that the bill will generate $4.1 trillion in economic growth, and it will cut taxes, putting more money back into the American people's pockets. That's why this president wants this bill to pass, and I know he's busy working the phones and doing what he needs to do today to make it happen. So we'll see you all later. Thank you. We'll see you in Florida tomorrow.
Now, as you heard Caroline say there, we'll see you tomorrow in Florida, meaning right now as you're listening to this show. There's also another important part of what she just said. The president is working the phones and has been working them, from what I've been told, all day long and late into the evening, and very well may be pulling what you would refer to in college as a good old all-nighter, making sure that this gets across the finish line. Now, there's also other senators that are going on TV talking about where they believe this is going. Senator Turber Bill from Alabama, you may know him as the football coach. Here's what he had to say on Fox Business.
What is your assessment? When you look at the whole thing, what would you have liked to have gotten in that didn't, and what do you think is the best things in it?
Well, first of all, 2/3 of the bill is the tax cuts, which obviously we've got to get done. It's necessary. Then 1/3 of the bill is we're reforming most of the agencies, which is Medicaid, school loans, all those things that are really costing us a lot of money. Right now we have 47 million young Americans that are in debt with student loans for $1.7 trillion. We can't sustain that. We can't sustain it, so we've done some work on that. We've done some work on Medicaid. Medicaid is basically reforming it, kicking people off that's not supposed to be on there, illegals and people that should be working. So all this, most of it is good. Sometimes you hate to do things that you know is going to put people in a situation where they're going to be uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, we all have to adjust to this because we can't keep spending the way we're spending right now. We can't do it.
We can't keep spending the way we're spending right now. We just can't keep doing it. Now, Senator Tuberville brought up an excellent point there as well. 2/3 of this big, beautiful bill are actually tax cuts, and 1/3 is reforming most of the agencies. That is extremely important. Now, there's also many that are saying the American people actually don't want this. One of the things that Tom Tillis has been saying about this bill, that actually is not true. In fact, if you go back and look at what Donald Trump ran on, he ran on the issue of making the Trump tax cuts permanent. How are we doing it? It is through the big, beautiful bill. So the President of the United States of America is burning the midnight oil. Senator Ron Johnson defending the big, beautiful bill as well on CNN, saying this to Jake Tapper.
$50 billion. So Biden deficits were 3 times larger than pre-pandemic levels of deficit, and spending is just out of control. So it's easy to be a Democrat, spend, mortgage your kids' future, never be held accountable by the media. It's pretty hard what we're trying to do, and so this may take a little bit more time.
Well, deficit spending is a bipartisan affliction. You know that better than anyone. Earlier this month, you were warning about this bill adding trillions to the national debt. You told ABC News, quote, "I'm worried about our kids and grandkids, the fact that we're mortgaging their future. It's wrong. It's immoral." Has your position changed? This legislation is still going to add to the deficit.
So Democrats, their only solution is increase taxes. We don't want to do that. That harms economic growth. We won't get the revenue we ever look for. All Democrats do is spend. By the way, they're talking about, we're going to, tax cuts for millionaires. No, we're just not going to increase taxes. They could have done that. In the 4 years when they were in power, they could have gotten rid of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. They could have increased taxes on every American. That's what we're trying to avoid. So again, Democrats love to spend. I'm not saying that we don't have Republicans that are big spenders as well. I've been focusing on spending, trying to put pressure on the process. And I think right now the stumbling block is what the Senate bill does. Even though we actually reduce spending more, we also make sure that those business tax provisions, which will incentivize growth, are permanent. So that holds a bigger score. But the difference between the House and Senate is about $651 billion. Rick Scott's amendment, which is eminently reasonable, it doesn't kick anybody off of Medicaid. It just limits, at some point in time in the future, additional adults who are childless, who are working age, who could work. It's going to deny them that 9-to-1 match, which has distorted Medicaid. Jake, for every dollar the state puts into to provide health care for a disabled child, the federal government puts $1.33. But for every dollar they put in toward a single childless adult who should be working, we kick in 9. That has led to all kinds of abuse, provider taxes, provider fees. By the way, that's not health care, but yet the federal government's kicking out $9 for every one of the states. That's what we're trying to address. We're not trying to take Medicaid away from disabled children. We're trying to stop that scam that states and providers have been using to draw down hundreds of billions of dollars from the federal government that we can't afford.
You listen to Ron Johnson there defending the big, beautiful bill. Dems' only solution is increase taxes and saying, quote, "It's easy to be a Democrat." You can also find it very interesting that Jake Tapper at CNN now actually cares about government spending, something he didn't care about under the Biden administration, not one single time. But all of a sudden the media now is like, well, we need to be looking at the deficit. At the end of the day, Donald Trump promised to make the tax cuts permanent and to rein in the size of government. That's clearly what he's advocating for and what he's trying to do right now. Now, I'll say this, for the 5 that are apparently holding out at this hour, a little after midnight as I am recording this show, anything can happen in the next few hours. And I have a feeling that at the end of the day, Donald Trump will be working those phones and making sure that the big, beautiful bill gets across the finish line for the American people.
Now story number 2.
The media yet again putting ICE agents' lives at risk. This time, CNN featuring a segment on ICE Block. It is an app that lets users anonymously crowdsource ICE agents sightings across a map and send alerts to others within a 5-mile radius. Now, the app's creator framed it as a, quote, harmless early warning system to help people avoid ICE, not to incite violence against the agents. ICE Block enforces constraints, they claim, as well. One post every 5 minutes, auto deletion after 4 hours, and explicitly recommends users not interfere with officers. That's their get-out-of-jail-free card, apparently. The White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt, accusing CNN of encouraging violence by publicizing the app, especially amid a reported 500% surge in assaults on ICE agents nationwide. The acting ICE director called CNN's coverage, quote, reckless and irresponsible, warning that it paints a target on federal law enforcement officers' backs. And Tom Holman, the former ICE director and the current border czar, branded the app as simply disgusting and urged the DOJ to investigate CNN's role in all of this. I want you to hear more of what Tom Holman had to say on Fox News Channel about this.
So this next story is outrageous. A new iPhone app is alerting people about ICE sightings in their area. As if that's not bad enough, CNN appears to be promoting the app, talking to the creator and doing a whole story on it. That is not sitting well with my next guest. Border czar Tom Holman joins me now. Tom, they've crossed the line here. This is out of control.
I know, it's just simply disgusting, and any network that covers that is disgusting as well. So I'm hoping DOJ steps in there and see if they cross that line of impeding federal law enforcement officers. Look, Lawrence, you and I talk about this. Assaults against ICE is up over 500%. Now you got an app that's going to tell where ICE operations are going to be. It's only a matter of time before ICE agents are ambushed by some nut, like what happened in L.A., throwing a Molotov cocktail, throwing bricks at these officers. This is just disgusting at every level. So I hope DOJ dives in this deeply. Because, you know, ICE is concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This shouldn't be an issue anybody is against. So they're already a dangerous job going after the worst of the worst. These guys are putting their lives on the line every day going after the worst and worst international security threats. And this app makes it that much more dangerous. It's incredible that those who enforce law, all of a sudden they're the bad guys. The ones who break the law, they're victims. It's disgusting.
Why would CNN promote this? Why would they do a story on this?
You know, I can't figure it out. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's got to be they hate Trump more than they love law enforcement. Or I can't figure it out. But something needs to be done. I mean, you advertise this guy's app on a national TV network. That's just going to bring more followers, sick followers, to the app and use it. Again, letting the bad guy know ICE is coming. They're here. Here's where they're going next. This is dangerous for the men and women in law enforcement.
Tom Holman clearly slamming CNN for promoting the ICE tracking app, and now is saying maybe it's time for law enforcement, the DOJ, to step in here and see if they cross the line, impeding federal law enforcement officers. Yet again, another example of how the left is doing everything they can to protect illegal immigrants and put American lives at risk.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
This is an iHeart podcast.